Testing. Microphone check. Hello. Hello, One Great Earth. My name is Dan. Thank you for joining me here on the stream. We're going to talk about a little bit of calamity, a little bit of climate change. This right here is from Org, June 11th, Stony Brook University. Climate change has made toxic algal blooms in Lake Erie more intense, scientists show. Climate change is causing it. See, a study letters demonstrates that one consequence of climate change that's already occurred as spread is the intensification of toxic algae blooms in Lake Erie. A team of scientists led by Christopher Gobler, PhD, a professor in the School of Marine. I'm sorry if I seem like if I'm reading this wrong or weird. I just had dental surgery and it just stopped bleeding finally, so I figured that it'd be still some pain. It took about an hour to get the tooth out. That root was one of the longest roots they've seen, so it was in there, and as soon as it came out, I felt so much better, because it needed to come out. But it needed to come out like a month ago, but I went to a different dentist to see if it could be salvaged first, my dentist. And whenever they told me that it could be salvaged, I broke it at the gum line. I mean, they're trying to grab it. The forceps, they're trying to pull at it. And there's nothing really to grab. So they had to drill a whole bunch of areas to be able to just, however, make it work. So they can grab onto it and yank it out. And it took a long time for the process. It was very interesting. I went to a dental university because I'm poor. At least I thought that was what you did when you were poor. You went to the school university or whatever for dental treatment and stuff like that. But it's only inexpensive when it's the students performing the work. When it's the students performing the work, it's very, very affordable. You can ask for that. But I luckily had a resident doctor that performed this procedure on me. Otherwise, some poor guy, some poor woman, some up-and-coming dentist or hygienist that has to numb me out. You know, it's like they can tell like this is going to be a big pool because they've seen on the x-rays, you could not even see the end of the root on the x-rays. And I mean, they tried several times to get a shot of it, but there was no seeing the actual root, the very tip of my mouth on the canine. So I was defanged. It's still kind of weird because even my bite feels different now. But again, you know, that's just trying to explain why I might wince, I might hit a word that makes me stop, you know, because I haven't been feeling this. They gave me ibuprofen. What's the other one? I can't remember the name of the other one. They gave me some pain medication and some antibiotics and some vitamin D. The vitamin D numbers are low. How can that be low when I step outside for 10 minutes and the sun's right in front of me? I mean, for real. The sun feels something else today. This is probably one of the hottest days I can remember. And not only is it hot, it just feels incredibly dry. Because it really dry, and it could be the pollution, could be the carbon dioxide around the planet. And pollution moves as well. You know, people don't think about this. It's pollution from one factory moves all of it in the wind stream. It's not just in the area. When the railroad company what was the name of the Norfolk Southern, yes, that was it. They blew up all those rails. I don't remember why I wanted to talk about Southern, Norfolk Southern, but where was I? See, distracted because of the pain. There's also like a lot of pressure that's been lifted because that tooth severely needed to come out. There's no saving it, you know. It's just in there causing problems. When I broke it at the gum line, I mean, I was expecting some pain, but I wasn't expecting the doctor literally to have to put his belly, his stomach, and hold my head to his stomach like this. Like, I felt very well taken care of, even though that, you know, you have to like hate the tooth. You know, to be able to pull the tooth out like that, you need to hate it. That man hated that tooth. Not only did he hate it, but I mean, he could separate the tooth from me, which is great. Because I'll tell you, like that, seeing that tooth when it came out and asking to see it, I meant to take it home, but I either forgot it or they forgot and just threw it away or something. Either way, I mean, but it looked like a gnarly, it was a long root for canine. I think my one was like this big, and my other tooth was double the length of my other canine tooth. But the thing was, like, it broke at the gum line, so how much longer would it have been? It was just kind of weird. But that's been the extent of what I've been up to, dealing with after extraction. You know, just meds and just trying to medicate so I don't actually start feeling the pain. You know, I definitely don't want to itch a stitch. You know, I do have stitches. I will not show them. But, where was I? Yes. A team of scientists led by Christopher Gabler, PhD, a professor in the School of Marine and Atmospheric Sciences at Stony Brook University, used high-resolution satellite-based temperature data along with the growth response of the blue-green algae that plagues Lake Erie, Microcytis. Their study demonstrates that since the 1990s, the western basin of Lake Erie has warmed and become significantly more hospitable to the algae and what that blooms of microcystis have become more intense in these same regions. Microcystis can cause serious health concerns as a gastrointestinal toxin. Microcystin can be harmful to humans and animals. Toxic or harmful algal blooms are not a new phenomenon, says Gabler. These events can sicken humans by contaminating drinking water or harm aquatic life as toxins cycle through food webs. And the problem is worsening. The intensity of these events has increased across the globe, and a study has demonstrated that warming since the 20th century has expanded the bloom season of microcystis in the western basin of Lake Erie by a month. While several studies have predicted that toxic algae blooms have become more common in the future, this is one of the first studies to link the intensification of these events in western Lake Erie during the century. It was remarkable and reassuring to see our hindsight models fall in line with observation of Lake Erie over the past 30 years. It gave us confidence that these models of ecosystem observations, laboratory experiments, and 30 years of satellite-based temperature estimates that are made daily and with a very high degree of spatial resolution. Today, collaborating with scientists outside of your discipline is almost a requirement to solve tough questions. The climate modeler and co-author Owen Doherty, PhD. This study showed carbon emission and climate change related policy decisions made today are likely to have important consequences for the spreading and intensification of toxic algae blooms in large lake ecosystems. Toxic blooms popping out everywhere. You can see Southwest is heating up extensively. We're probably going to see a city in Arizona reach 120 degrees this year. Already seen 116 degrees, just over 84 degrees. Unbelievable how many triple digits that we're seeing here. This is only just the beginning as well. This heat is only become worse because the heat has gotten worse in every area that is comparable to us. Every other city and state, major city and state, has had extreme weather, extreme heat days, and they're not going away. They're going to keep extending into the week, extending longer, chaining together, making unbearable, horrible, sweltering days with no end in sight. It looks like half the country is going to be over 100 degrees very shortly. The Great Plains to the California Bay coastline, to Arizona, to New Mexico, most of Texas, most of Florida, Mississippi and Alabama will probably hit 100 at least. Georgia definitely. Now from Michigan and Wisconsin, I don't see. Michigan, it's since there was a climate shift and human beings shifted climate axis just a little bit, there might be some surprises in store for us in the summer, especially in the Midwest, since they didn't have any lake ice during the entire winter. That just doesn't happen. I don't remember a single time that lake ice didn't occur in Michigan. Always watching it, always see it. 102, yeah, these are absolutely terrifying numbers. And this is literally, I should say, this is just the beginning. We're going to see hot days with a lot of humidity, and sweating is going to be impossible. Sweating is not going to cool us off anymore. Arizona, as that report I read yesterday, is a 2-day blackout away from a mass casualty event. This is terrible because in extreme heat, you could have blackouts, rolling brownouts, and that will cause just terrible anguish for people that rely on AC to be able to keep them at a comfortable level, at least their house. Otherwise, their house can heat up to be 85, 90 degrees. That's insane. If your house is 95 degrees on the inside, you're dying. No lights, fans everywhere. Even then, the fans don't help when the air outside is hot or hotter, as hot or hotter than the air on the inside. You're circulating air and it's not doing anything because it's not being a difference of coolness. You would need air conditioning. We need a robust air conditioning unit because after 110 degrees, keeping your house under 80 degrees requires work, requires a lot of work for a machine. Kansas, Nebraska hitting 100 degrees, Colorado hitting 100 degrees, Utah hitting 100 degrees, Nevada hitting 100 degrees, New Mexico, Arizona hitting 100 degrees, Oklahoma definitely hitting 100 degrees. Now from Missouri, Arkansas to Louisiana, maybe. We'll see Louisiana with 100 degrees, but not as like I imagined it would be for New Mexico. Because New Mexico and Arizona have extreme heat. It's very dangerous, and a lot of people are at risk even if they don't know it from extreme heat. I've succumbed to heat while on the job when I used to work on rail, and that was not my best day. I passed out in a train, and they closed it up and sealed it up, and I had to stick my arm out and make sure people saw that I was still in there before they literally locked it up. But, you know, I passed out in heat. I was moving too fast. I wasn't pacing myself. And, I mean, I could have passed out in a lot of different places that could have been very, very harmful to my body and health. But I digress. Let's see, California. California climate-ready workforce. As Earth warms, California gets federal funding to train climate-ready workforce. California is among 9 U.S. states and territories selected to receive $60 million in federal funding as part of a significant effort to build a nationwide climate-ready workforce. The investment from the U.S. Department of Commerce and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration will support job development efforts in coastal and Great Lakes communities around the country, including $9.5 million to establish the Los Angeles County Climate Ready Employment Council at Long Beach City College. The LBCC program will help develop training, internship, and job placement services for occupations in the water and solar sectors that are demanding workers. Similar programs were announced Tuesday in American Samoa, Alaska, Washington, Texas, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Ohio, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. The investment in public, private, and educational organizations will train workers from around our coast and help them find good-paying jobs that strengthen climate resilience and local economies. Read a statement from U.S. Secretary of Commerce Gina Raimondo. Climate change accelerates the need for a new generation of skilled workers who can who help communities address a wide range of climate impacts, including sea level rise, flooding, water quality issues, and the need for solutions such as renewable energy. This program is funded by President Biden's landmark Inflation Reduction Act and includes $50 million USD in direct awards and $10 million in technical assistance, even with the generational investment that's being made. We think it shows the need and the demand in communities nationwide for programs like this. The program arrives at a key moment for the country, which is continuing to experience worsening climate impacts such as extreme wildfires, floods, heat, and storms. Las Vegas, Phoenix, and Albuquerque are currently sweltering amid a record-breaking heat wave, while portions of Florida are bracing to receive a month's worth of rain in just a few days. California has set ambitious targets for adapting to climate change, including cutting greenhouse gas emissions nearly in half by 2030 and achieving carbon neutrality by 2045. But to get there will require significant overhauls of its transportation and energy sectors, as well as upgrades and investments in manufacturing and infrastructure. A 2021 study on California's clean energy transition found that the investments needed to meet and strengthen the state's goals could create 1 million new jobs through 2030. About 14% of these jobs are related to solar, 5% to onshore wind, and 4% to wastewater, among other sectors. Such efforts are urgently needed. In the 1980s, the U.S. averaged a $1 billion weather disaster every 4 months, according to NOAA. Today, such events happen once every 3 weeks. These are wind turbine blades for South Fork Wind, an offshore wind farm, are stored in State Pier, New London, Connecticut, December 2023. The stark reminder of the escalating risks we're up against. The demand for adaptation and resilient solutions is increasing, and with that comes an increasing demand for climate-ready workforce that's trained to help communities and business prepare for the effects of climate change. Does that mean become shut down because you can't open because there's too much water everywhere? Like helping people through the death of their business to the next step, you know? Bavishi noted that since 2018, the number of city and state level climate adaptation plans have risen by 32%, but translating those into action fairly and effectively is proving to be tougher. One barrier is the lack of a diverse, skilled workforce, she said. What's more, the 5th National Climate Change Assessment, released in November, underscored the ways in which historically underserved communities of color, and tribal and indigenous communities face disproportionate risk and impacts from climate change. The same communities are often on the sideline of the labor market as well. The Workforce Initiative is initially reaching out to those communities with training opportunities, Ramondo told reporters Tuesday. Support services such as childcare and transportation are components of the initiative that will help ensure that folks can finish the training, graduate, and actually get high quality, good paying jobs. We have to be clear-eyed about the need to prepare workers with skills for the jobs and connections to real jobs. And that's what this initiative is designed to do, she said. The $9.5 million program at Long Beach City College represents the second largest investment following only the Greater Boston Coastal Resilience Job Alliance in Massachusetts, which will receive $9.8 million for a similar endeavor. LBCC will serve as the backbone for the establishment of the Los Angeles County Climate Ready Employment Council, an expansive project that will convene parties from the public, private, nonprofit, tribal, and educational spheres to improve the country's climate resiliency workforce and develop training and job placement in all sectors across the country, college officials said. It's a dream. Our students will be at the forefront of developing and implementing innovative solutions that are essential for sustaining our planet's health and ensuring a resilient future for all. LBCC this week also announced a $750,000 grant for the California Municipal Utilities Assistance Water, Wastewater, and Energy Workforce Development Program. Both grants will address the unique needs of those communities most disproportionately impacted by climate change and will connect underserved and under-resourced workers with training and job placement and climate resilient careers. Still, they keep saying a climate resilient career. I don't exactly know what that is. A carbon neutral job? Does that exist? The federal program will begin 6 to 9 months after the funds are received, according to the college. NOAA officials said they aim to disperse all funds to awardees by August 1st. The Biden administration has already created more than 270,000 clean energy jobs across the country, but officials underscored that there is still a lot more work to be done. The impacts of the climate crisis are diverse, and the skills needed to empower workers and communities are also diverse, Ramondo said. If we're going to ensure that American workers can take advantage of jobs that we're creating by tackling climate change, then we have to be proactive about training folks so they have the skills they need to get the jobs that are available. This is from the Los Angeles Times by Haley Smith, staff writer. That was the Los Angeles Times. I should have took a drink of water earlier. Didn't realize how bad that was getting. That was California Climate Ready Workforce. vaquita, porpoises. Now, you can say endangered. The vaquita marina, the world's smallest cetacean, is on the verge of extinction. Recent expeditions have revealed a heartwarming decline in their numbers, with only 6 to 8 individuals sighted this year, down from an estimated 10 to 13 last year. This alarming decrease has conservationists and researchers scrambling for solutions to save the elusive marine mammal from disappearing forever. The vaquita marina, known for its distinctive dark rings around the eyes and mouth, has been a long symbol for the rich biodiversity of the Gulf of California. However, the species have been under threat due to bycatch, accidental capture, and fishing gear, which we've been talking extensively about lately, especially of trawling with a net, is extremely destructive, and a lot more gets caught. And when you go a certain depth, the problem arises that you're taking animals that live on the sea floor, and you're taking all these animals and you're taking them up to the surface. This causes them all kinds of toxic shock and pressure changes. You're not seeing the fish that it was in its natural habitat. It's going to look like a big blob or something like that. You see a lot of pictures like, oh, this is a deep sea fish, it must have looked like a blob. No, it probably looked completely different, but it couldn't retain its shape after the pressure change, after coming up, and or temperature change. All this heat waves have been screwing up with the marine ecosystem and life as we know it. The total Abba's swim bladder is highly valued in some cultures for supposed medicinal properties, leading to rampant poaching and a black market that has inadvertently ensnared the vaquita in its destructive path. The recent expedition by Sea Shepherd, a conservation group, took place from May 5th, 26, 2024, and covered only 12% of the total area where vaquitas were observed in 2015. The absence of newborn calves this year is particularly concerning, as it indicates a failure in the species' ability to reproduce successfully in the wild. A healthy juvenile was sighted, but the lack of calves pointed to a grim future. The vaquita's habitat is protected by a leading researcher in the field, emphasizes the need for extended surveys using acoustic detection to determine the vaquita's movements and to enforce the fishing ban effectively. The survival of the vaquita marina hangs in a delicate balance, with their fate closely tied to the actions and cooperation of the local communities, conservationists, and Mexican government. In conclusion, the vaquita marina's plight is a stark reminder of the fragility of the marine ecosystems and the impact of human activities on endangered species. The world's smallest porpoise continues to fight for survival in the vast waters of the Gulf of California, with hope still lingering for a turnaround in their futures. What are the specific threats to vaquita marina? Totoaba, a fish whose swim bladder is highly valued on the black market. Is this just conservationists agree that the vaquita, to survive gillnet fishing, must end within their habitat, and there needs to be an effective enforcement on this ban.
vaquita marine porpoises left alive. The tiny vaquita, which means little, only once every 2 years. Now one of the rarest animals on the planet, the species is on the verge of extinction. Joining me in Mexico City, Mark, welcome. Great to have you with us. So how did this tiny aquatic porpoise become so endangered, and how is its fate connected to another endangered fish that is considered a delicacy in China?
Well, thank you, Tony. Yeah, the vaquita marina is, of course, a tiny porpoise. So it gets caught in nets that are set in the upper Gulf of California or the Sea of Cortez to catch the totoaba. The totoaba is a fish whose swim bladder is considered a delicacy in China. It's worth thousands of dollars per kilogram. So what Mexico has been trying to do is to set aside a protected area in the upper Gulf and to ban gill nets, to ban totoaba fishing, to save the few remaining vaquitas. The problem is that about a week ago, the Mexican government floated 3 proposals that really could mark the end of the vaquita or the efforts to save the vaquita. They have proposed reducing the protected area because there are so few vaquita left that in some of the protected area, vaquitas. And they have revived an old theory that's largely discredited by science, that somehow the decline of the vaquita marina is due to reduced inflows of fresh water from the Colorado River due to increased U.S. use of Colorado River water. The problem with that theory is it's both not true, and it provides a pretext for not doing anything about the real cause of the vaquita near extinction, which is these gill nets, which are set by fishermen to catch totoaba. So lifting the totoaba.
Boats have even attacked Sea Shepherd boats that are there trying to protect the vaquita. Why is the government folding to pressure from the fishing industry?
Well, it's been quite clear that the administration of Mexican who have attacked Sea Shepherd boats, have attacked Mexican marine, and what they're doing is withdrawing these nets. They don't directly engage the fishermen, but when they see fishermen setting prohibited gill nets, they'll go and pull those nets out of the water. And in the process of this, the Sea Shepherd boats have been attacked by small fishing boats, which has led to tragic.
So the Sea Shepherd boats are. So the Sea Shepherd boats are essentially just enforcing the rules that are already there. And I'm sorry, you said it led to the death of a fisherman?
Yeah, it was about a month ago when various times in the last few months when Sea Shepherd withdraws these nets, the fishermen get angry at Sea Shepherd vessel. Obviously, they were thrown out of the boat. One of the fishermen was pulled out of the water, and he was no longer breathing. Again, so it's a battleground. But the point is that without these protections, there are only 10 or 12 of these vaquita marina porpoises left. Without these protections, we may lose what few we have left.
Right, and clearly the clock is ticking. As you said, fewer than 10 are believed to still be alive. So what can be done? I mean, obviously, international pressure on the Mexican government help doing something like that. Is there any kind of human intervention that could save this highly endangered species?
Well, the only human intervention that would be worth anything is continuing to pressure the Mexican government to continue the efforts it's carrying on. About 2 years ago, when there were 20 vaquitas left, experts immediately stressed out and died. They captured another animal. He immediately began to show signs of stress, and they released it. And they have come to the conclusion that with so few vaquita left, this is an animal that is protected in its own habitat, and that appears to be something that
I luckily had a
with anything, is continuing to pressure the Mexican government to continue the effort that left.
Right, and clearly the clock is ticking, as you said, fewer.
Well, it's been quite. With anything, is continuing to pressure the Mexican government to continue the effort that left.
Right, and clearly the clock is ticking, as you said, fewer.
Well, it's been quite.
This stream, I'll have to go back and see how much was actually recorded and how much actually was skipped. I think a lot of that interview that I watched wasn't there, and I'm not seeing.
Continuing to pressure the Mexican government to continue the effort that left.
Right, and clearly the clock is ticking, as you said, fewer.
Well, it's been quite.
I don't know if I can. Pardon me. I don't know if my stream, how much of it went through. Well, my internet's acting a little funny. Yeah, this interview got botched. You can hear it still, at least. So at least, that's the only thing I really care about, is that the audio was still captured and things that were said in response to the video. So even though the video is a little choppy, right, at these moments, at least the audio is still there. I had to troubleshoot the technical difficulties I was having with my wireless connection. So I went instead to Ethernet. I was just having too many bandwidth issues. That might have been my issues before using, but I haven't had such issues before that I was having packet loss of 100 or 97%. I can't believe that Wi-Fi was that bad. I don't know if I can start using, but okay, so I haven't had such issues before. More technical issues squared away, meaning that future streams, please, if you haven't already, like the stream, subscribe to the channel. It helps me out immensely. So whenever I have packet loss now, it's only like 7% or lower, or 0%. So it looks like it's a lot more stable now. I don't know why my Wi-Fi network was just having so much bandwidth issues that I couldn't stream with OBS. That's new to me. Well, anyway, let's see. I don't want to have to redo the stream, you know? I don't want to have to redo the stream. Right now, I'm just going through the stream, looking at it, rewinding it. As long as the audio is there, the video can be choppy, which I don't think it's choppy anymore. I think it looks pretty smooth right now. I don't know what one thing I did out of the many.
Just looking through the stream,
Yeah,
looking at it, rewinding it.
okay. So I think I'm back. I'm back at it. I'm not having packet loss like I was. Not dropping frames. Even though I'm dropping frames, it still sounds like a lot of the audio went through, so that's good, because that was like an 8-minute interview or something like that, so good that it's still kept, even though the video might have been just lagging or looking behind. This was Mexico's endangered animal, the vaquita marina. Less than 10 sighted. They're constantly captured in gill nets by fisher person, fishmonger, yeah, among fish. All right. Well, I don't have anything lined up for a stream after this. It's mostly just now to test the connection's not dropping. And right now it's not dropping, and I pretty sure the Ethernet cable solves the issues. I just don't understand the Wi-Fi issues. I must have issues with my Wi-Fi card, like the actual physical Wi-Fi network card I have in my computer might be dying or something. All right. Thank you once. Hopefully, I start to notice that this tooth needed to come out badly. Resigning the fact that my mouth's going to be that much more easy. It's going to be easier to handle. I was in a lot of pain. I was in a lot of pain. And that's the kind of pain that everybody was telling me that was some of the worst pain that you could have is tooth pain. I tell you, it brought me down a few times. It was pretty spontaneous whenever it would occur, whenever the pain would happen. Thank you. Thank you again. I believe I'm going to call the stream, and unless I find something else interesting, and I'm probably going to go lie down for a little bit because my mouth is starting to hurt. I need to make sure I take my medication and put my gauze back in because I'm still bleeding. Glad that I didn't have drops of blood dripping or anything like that. It was earlier. It was wild earlier. And it was like a shark tooth he pulled out. I asked him, but I forgot to take the tooth, or he forgot to give it to me, so I didn't get to take it home. I'm gonna put it in a little can, shake it, you know, because take it home and bury it in the ground, you know, because that's what you do. It was a part of me for a long time. The dentist, yeah, he got his work out, I tell you. You have to be strong as hell to do what he did today. That tooth, that was something else. Okay, well, I think I have my issues resolved. Thank you again. Please take care.